Welcome to Squad, your favorite source for everything esports and gaming. I'm Lisa Dwan, and for your Friday night, we have Marissa and Brody back in Unmuted debating the latest, and then later on in Esports in 30, we're breaking down everything CSGO from Dreamhack Dallas. But before that, you know we like our spicy plays, so here are the Esports Plays of the Week.
You could probably maybe run through and steal a kill somewhere, but I don't think it's gonna. Oh wow, more and more headshots. It's gonna look. Oh no! How could that happen? Absolutely impossible. He didn't even reload, and he picked up that final kill. And now it's 30 seconds, and Tarek, he has the health, but Amanek is here with the C-set. Oh, he's gonna clutch it. One must fall.
Both junglers on the bottom side, though.
Yep. 3 on 3. There's the first time. A lot of CC. They chained it together. And Core JJ is down. Now the re-engage towards Smoothie. Does not have flash. Stopwatch buys some time. They knock him down. Fork and ult. Fork get away with that one. TP's canceled. Now it's the runaway for Smoothie. They're going to find the first stun. In comes Akadi and the rest of the squad. Looking for the damage up, but it's close. But they do get that first kill. Now Akadi going to run. And Dublin versus Sven. He's going to turn it around. Oh, and he taunts him with it. A triple kill.
Justin needs help, Fireburner. There's EJ diving stop. He may not have got the goal, but at least he kept the lead.
Icon are managing to stay in this game with these saves. Oh my goodness.
Gee, you disgusting man. Off the corner, keeps it close and delivers a huge equalizer.
With 2 minutes left, Garrett G back and forth between the backboard.
They were right next to each other inside of that smoke. It'll be Elise to try and fight them 1 versus 4, and he's got the first kill. The bomb is right there, so that's right, the only thing going for him. One more headshot. They're going to find out. Oh, God! Elise!
Yeah, I feel like the big damage. Oh my God! IDK, please! Wow, that was wild. What did Fox do to you, man? All right, so 3 stocks to 1 with less than a minute gone. Oh my God! Oh my God! Are you dead? Are you dead? You are dead! Wow!
Or free at least to take a shot, and he hit it right into Garrett. NRG thanking their lucky stars. Justin on the turnaround, blocked by Metsonaris. No one's back. That was the demo. Can he get the shot? Metsonaris, TSM! They do it! They take down the Titans!
Big Radiance comes down. That's the cooldown CLG was waiting for. Grig goes into the back lines. It's Biofrost in danger. Slammed to the ground by Broken Blade. Wiggly wants to get away over the wall, and he will do so, but it's already a 1 for 0 for the side of Team Solo Mid. We'll see if they can find anything else, if they are just going to go for the Drake or not. Ruin, no equalizer ready to go. CLG still thinking about maybe trying to fight for this one, but there's no smite available. It's going to be stolen anyway. Power of evil, power of steel. He gets that Drake.
So he was scouting very well with the Ivysaur up there too under that platform, so we will see. Oh, what's the option? Double dip, triple dip. We're back. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. 0 to death from net, and that was the spike of the century, brother.
Apex holding his own. Oh, bomb. That is the bomb, isn't it?
You get the gun, just very, very scared of underpass. For good reason as well. 9 bullets left for these final 2 kills. Running low, smoke out to delay. Now only 5 bullets left, and he's got the MP7.
Flashbang, they're both flashed, these lines. Oh! That is a beautiful flashbang.
That's so sick.
So clean on defense, even in those moments where Dignitas was threatening, they still get out of it.
Oh my gosh, Yukio, he's gonna score! Yukio! Incredible!
I have to see another look at this. Yukio, what is... He gets it off the ceiling, double tap.
Oh my goodness!
Off the wall.
Get out of this
And
lobby!
dishes it in.
Get out of this lobby!
Beast.
No way. Oh. I'll go back to the little jump shot right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot. He's in the corner. Wizzy has a lot of stage to play with.
Return that's it.
The knee.
That's it.
Whistle. Oh! What was that? This man has warrior blood in his veins.
You want anyone left on this Vitality team in this kind of position, it's got to be him. 15 seconds, plenty of time to put the bomb down. Nobody near to stop him either. Now just peeking out. I'm not sure if he saw that. Doesn't seem like it. Smoke going to be going up, and they almost have to respect it. Through the smoke, he nearly takes down Vinny. In case Dorado coming in with that AWP, maybe he could... I wish he could have found another weapon. That could be a harder weapon to try and retake with. Now he's out. Past the smoke as well. They line up for him. Oh, there it is.
Almost down by 2, and thankfully Chaussette pinged it off the bar. Pass across for Rogue to Kronovi, top of the box. Wow. Delivered into the left. Good. And found a gap. Wonder ties it up.
What? Look at the Kronovi. The passing plays. So good from Rogue. Kronovi 2 touches in that triangle, and Rogue put on a clinic.
It really is just a very bad day right now for Tensora. He felt unconfident in Peach, which really was his call here, but it seems that Joker and Leo are all right. I think it's safe to call this basically the tournament.
What?
Oh no! Oh no! You can't do that! You can't! Wow!
Leo!
Welcome to Unmuted. We got your gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, and spiciest memes. I'm Marissa Roberto.
And who
am I today? Oh, I'm Gizmo Moore. Don't feed me after midnight. We're going to present all the goodies we've gathered, which we will discuss and most likely argue, but luckily for all of us, there is a mute button, and I really want to use it on you right now to shut you up and your scripts.
You're not supposed to get water on you either. Bad things will happen. Shout out to chat. We like it when you call us out when we're wrong and praise us when we're spitting truth. So let's get to it, shall we? Kicking off our top stories is FaZe High Sky, who has a confession to make. On a YouTube stream, High Sky admitted that he's only 12 years old and apologized to fans for lying to them. High Sky was signed by FaZe last year and said that he was 13 in order to skirt the Twitch and YouTube rules preventing minors from streaming. He was banned from Twitch, but is now on YouTube because its rules state that a minor can stream if a parent is always present. And wouldn't you know, High Sky's mom was always on camera. Brody, so where does the High Sky go from here? Honestly, like he's kind of getting torched here from everybody, even though he's just a kid.
Where does he go from here? Well, apparently to YouTube, because they'll take anybody streaming there because they're really behind on Twitch's viewing numbers right now when it comes to streaming video games. So I'm not surprised that YouTube has those rules implemented. It's just gonna be really weird now that mom has to just stand in the back the whole time.
So weird.
What's she gonna do? Is she gonna join in the conversation, or is she just going to sit in the back and like read a newspaper or do whatever her hobbies are in the background? Like,
what do moms like? What do moms do?
I don't know. But yeah, no, like she's gonna have to be in the background. Like if she leaves camera for like 1 second, is that a problem? Like,
maybe.
Can she not go to the bathroom the whole time that he's streaming?
That's a good point. Like he might have to, they both might have to take bathroom breaks at the same time, like a little commercial break from the stream, and they both leave because she has to be present at all times. Because you know somebody, because people are really upset about this, you know that somebody's going to be watching all the time. A few people are just going to be always keeping an eye on it just to get this kid in trouble because they don't like how he lied. And also, like, there's a lot of haters out there, right? He got signed to FaZe, and I don't know. The thing is, like, I don't know who to blame here because obviously a lot of this comes onto FaZe. FaZe is in hot water for it as well.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it on them to make sure that everyone they sign, like, do they have to check the birth certificate of everyone they sign? You know what I mean? Like, is that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I mean, that's why he's banned now because they eventually found out. They do it on good faith, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not really blaming the kid. I mean, it's not. High Sky's, he's 12, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not holding any 12-year-olds really accountable for anything they do. They don't know what they do. The kid's like, hey, I got a good opportunity. Why would they be able to find out? I don't see any way they could find out because he knows nothing about how they could find out, right? He's just a kid. So he's going to try to get away with it, of course. I tried to get away with so many things when I was a kid. Whether I did or didn't is a different story. It's just I tried, and every kid's going to. So I don't blame the kid. I blame any legal guardians that maybe would have let him do that at the same time.
Well, I don't know.
And,
the thing is, like,
FaZe for me not doing a full investigation.
I just don't know if he's still lying though, because apparently he's actually 11. Like that's what Tifa was saying.
When he was signed, which was
11. So
okay,
so now he's actually 12 and he is telling the truth.
Yes.
Okay. Fair.
So in this case, we know Tfue was telling the truth. But now on to the next story. E3 is next week, but don't tell that to Google or many people really. The company held a Stadia Connect stream yesterday to detail its upcoming Stadia stream platform. And let me tell you, there were a lot of details. But the most important news was this. It will require a 10 megabit down and 1 megabit up stream internet connection to stream games at minimum detail. And the $10 subscription service only covers older games. New releases, it seems, will have to be purchased in full. So if you want a game right away, immediately, you're still paying full price for games, but so really what you're paying the $10 for is just the access to the servers and being able to stream the games. Yeah. So the idea is instead of buying a video game console straight up for $400 to $500, you're paying $10 a month to have
that video game console, but then also still have to pay for games if you want new games to come out.
Yes, but you still get older games for free. So there is a bonus to it. Like you're not just buying games. You do get games for free.
You know what, Brody? You are such a Google fanboy that you literally will just defend them at every turn.
Are you kidding me? I'm the first one to scrutinize them.
Okay, so then wouldn't you say this is kind of annoying? Like we all thought it was going to be this amazing thing that is going to be super cheap and like we're going to all get into it together, we're going to get to play everything, but no, we need to have a certain internet connection, which is obviously expected. Now we have to pay $12 Canadian, okay? So like, that's not 10 for us.
Oh no, breaking the bank here.
No, seriously, we already have so many stupid subscriptions we have every single month. So now we have to add this to the pile and then also pay for games on top of it? Seriously?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I would rather have like a $30 to $40 a month service, which is what a lot of the streaming services were before, to just have all the games. But the fact, I would have a real issue with this if you weren't getting any games for free. If you're paying $10 a month and you're just now having to buy them. You can get the base version of this that is free, but you have to pay full games and you don't get the free games.
Okay.
So basically, now you're just paying for the games to stream them, right? So the $10 a month gets you old games for free and allows you to stream up to 4K if you have the internet connection to support that. Okay. So $10 a month, fairly reasonable. I'm probably not gonna mention that I did buy the Founders Edition already.
You're so annoying. I knew it. You're already stuck in that. Listen, in this week's unfortunate Borderlands 3 news, Gearbox confirmed that Chris Hardwick would be reprising his role as Vaughn. This news comes after actress Chloe Dykstra accused an ex-boyfriend of sexual and emotional abuse. While she didn't name anyone, it was believed by many that the boyfriend in question was Hardwick. Dykstra tweeted her disapproval at the news and is auctioning off her Borderlands gear for charity. Brody.
Yeah.
This upsets me for a lot of different reasons, and I don't know. Okay, so Chloe, who is a lovely woman, went through a whole thing where she decided she was going to tell the story of this abusive boyfriend. Okay, she never named the boyfriend. Okay. She did an article about it because she did want women to know that, like, listen, this happens. You need to be aware of it and try to stop it when you see these signs. Okay, because
it should just be a message to anybody.
It's a message to anybody,
regardless of your gender.
Well, absolutely.
You should speak out if that's happening to you. Yes.
Not just women to men as well. You should nobody should be verbally, mentally, any kind of abused in a relationship, okay? So she put this out there, didn't name him, but it was very obvious in some of the things that she was talking about that it was clearly Chris Hardwick, okay? So Chris Hardwick
he stepped down?
He did not. He did not step down, but you know how he hosts the show on A&E for The Walking Dead.
Sure.
Okay, so he did host the show, and he did their own investigation, apparently, but there was no cooperation from Chloe because Chloe didn't want to actually come out and name him because she didn't want to, like, flame his career or anything. But the fact that, like,
well, I mean, if you made it that clear anyways, you're flaming his career, you may as well just say his name, so now it's not up for consideration.
Fair enough. So the fact that, like, now these companies are still working, I'm just upset because it seems like Randy Pitchford, just in general, seems very out of touch, okay? Like, he could have easily replaced Vaughn with Troy Baker, who's very talented and it can easily step into that role.
Baker's great.
No problem. Can be done. The fact they're giving it back to Chris Hardwick, which honestly, like, the gaming community, I feel like, is done with him. Like, I have feels now about Borderlands, like going to do a Borderlands interview.
Who, Chris?
I don't know. Like, Chris won't be there. Like, I'm definitely not talking to him. But I just have feels about...
here's my issue, is the fact that he's never been named. Even if it's been obvious, why wouldn't she just say his name? Like, say his name then.
We all know.
Because now it's left up to speculation that, oh, maybe it's not him. And now you're creating a divide amongst people that are going to fight this. If you just say the name, there's no question for debate. The issue is you didn't say the name.
That's not the issue.
Seems like you're trying to save your own face
someone who is abusive, emotionally and mentally abusive, and used to be an alcoholic. Yes, he is sober now.
Then say the name, though.
No, but there's no. What is the point now? What is the point now?
Because you just created. Now you're creating two camps. You've created more problems by not saying the name. Say the name. Call people out.
Like, I'm gonna call you out right now.
For what?
For being annoying AF.
You're annoying AF.
Just
Jesus.
go. We're out of time.
The biggest video game story of the week, surprisingly, isn't about E3. According to a new report, Blizzard is actively working on Overwatch, which they'll announce at BlizzCon 2019. Apparently, it will not only feature the same PvP modes, but a new PvE mode as well. That's apparently all we know, but we have heard the devs saying that it feels a lot like Left 4 Dead is what they're relating to. Do we need an Overwatch 2, Marissa?
No.
Like, if it feels like kind of odd. Are they going to replace that in the OWL, or is this like, I don't? It's kind of weird that we're having a second one.
This is weird.
What changes are they going to make? Like, why do we need an?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's strange because, like, to me, the updates in Overwatch and what we get new in Overwatch are the new heroes, right? Like, that's what's new. That's what's exciting. And then they can add new maps. Because it's a competitive game, this is what you need to do. Like, the same deal with CSGO. CSGO does not change. CSGO maybe gets a new map, and that's about it. Or R6.
And they've been adding game modes to Overwatch already. And they also added the ability to write scripts and create new game modes. Why can't they just put it into this one? Like, why do they have to make a new game Like, is this just to sell more copies? Like, you can build this in
well, yeah, exactly.
to the game that already exists.
It's just to sell more copies. That's all it is to people on the outside. I don't think this really, maybe this won't even affect the esports community at all. This is probably just something that's going to come out for, you know, the outsiders to play and get excited about Overwatch, and then maybe slowly they'll introduce those heroes that they come out with for that game into the competitive scene of this Overwatch, because there's already a system in place here.
Now they're going backwards too. Like, are they going to be supported simultaneously? Because then if you call Overwatch 2, it seems like it's the new better thing.
Right.
You shouldn't keep like putting into the old one when you got the new one, right?
Yeah,
this is just really confusing.
I don't know. You play a lot of Overwatch though. Like, have you been feeling like maybe you want a little something special, a little sparkle, a little sheen?
Well, I mean, I could list off a whole bunch of changes that I'd like, but I guarantee you that they're not going to do that into the next one, because like it would completely change the competitive scene. I mean, I want less people on the field. I want less people on a team, but there's careers out the window, so they're not going to do that, right? Imagine all of a sudden they're like, actually, you know, a whole like third of our Overwatch league don't have careers anymore. I don't think that's going to happen.
Your brain doesn't want to take jobs away from people, okay? You're so kind.
I'm trying to be nice, but I would take some people off the field. That's for sure.
There's a lot going on.
There's too much going on. It's a terrible esport.
But that is the meta of Overwatch, so that's the game. Listen, it's time to check in with streamers and clip it. First up, we have a clip from Mrs. Ruby and her adorable son, who's having a hard time describing a particular kind of egg.
Do you know which ones, like the ones that have like white stuff in it?
What?
Do you know those ones that have white stuff in it? Not the shells, like the things that have yellow stuff in it. Those parts ones.
Banana?
No, not that. Yellow stuff. Yellow stuff in it.
It has yellow stuff in it.
Yeah, in like white stuff holding it. It's an egg.
Is it an egg?
No, it's one of the types of an egg. It's the like one that has
hard-boiled egg?
Yeah, those ones.
What about it?
The like white stuff are really good. Is this one of it?
No, that's a regular egg.
For real though, I've definitely come across a moment where I've forgotten the word for something, and I basically felt like that kid where I'm trying to describe the thing that I want to talk about, but I can't find the word for it. So I'm like, you know, the thing and the thing with the, you know,
for
the
sure.
thing?
No, we've all done it. That kid is literally all of us. I love it so much how sweet he was. He was so like, you know, he just really wanted to tell her, it's really good. The white stuff is really good. I'm glad that it didn't go in a certain way.
I know. There's definitely it could have, and I know she was thinking that too. What is this kid talking about right now? All right, let's move on. Our next clip comes from Lyndon FPS, who receives an assist from a real bro.
Bro, is that your wife or something? Let me talk to her.
You want to talk to my brother?
Yeah. Oh, that was. Oh, it sounds like a little. Oh my god. Hey, what's up, man?
What's your name?
My name's Lyndon. Can you please turn off your brother's computer right now?
Yeah.
Do it.
Computer?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
My man.
I got you, fam.
Thanks, bro.
Oh my god.
That's rude.
That's real. He's got paid plants in everyone's room.
Seriously. Yo, don't worry, I got you, bro. That's not a real bro. A bro would stick with his bro.
No.
You can't do that to your bro,
okay.
bro.
I mean, trust me,
Don't
it
be
is in the brother's code to do whatever you can to disrupt your brother and his enjoyment in anything. That is what you do to show your love as a brother.
No, because see, like I obviously do the opposite of what my brother wants me to do, but I'm his sister. Like I feel like just boys and girls are usually like fighting that way. I feel like when you have a brother,
no, that's just.
I think
it's a universal, just sibling thing that you need to be a real crap disturber to your siblings and inconvenience them at any given moment.
Okay, like see, I don't want to do you dirty, and you're my bro.
Well, you do.
I know. Okay, it's really time for the best time of day where we scroll the Twitters to bring you all the things that pros bless us with on their timeline. It's the best when they share intimate details about their relationships. League of Legends commentator Froskerin says, my partner and I share a single deodorant. However, when she travels, the deodorant goes with her. That is the flat's deodorant. It should stay in the flat. And you know who is currently the only one in the flat? Me. Smelly me.
Okay,
Brody,
that's not
do
the
you share?
problem.
What's
No.
the problem? What?
The problem is not that it's being taken out of the flat.
What is it then?
The problem is that that's weird to share deodorant.
No, it's not.
What?
I share my deodorant with my husband.
No.
Yeah,
that's
I do.
gross.
Why is it gross?
Because like you're not, even if you're just out of a shower, your body's still gonna start sweating. Now you got someone else's sweat on it that you're putting into your armpits.
Brody, you sleep in the same bed as this person. You
So?
share their germs all the time.
I don't sleep in the same bed and put my armpit up on them.
Yeah, but
you really want to share deodorant with this armpit?
But you put the deodorant on when
Look
you're
at
not
these,
sweating,
they're already
though.
sweating.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't share deodorant with you. I'd give you like the aerosol
Okay,
one.
do you share a toothbrush?
Sometimes if we're in a pinch.
No, you do not get to talk on this show anymore. This is awful. If you're out there, stop. Please stop. For the goodness of all hygiene, stop. Do not share your deodorant with other people. Get your own stick, and you won't have to worry about them taking it on vacation. Moving on. Nintendo's Bill Trinan is a dad out there tweeting like dad-like things, but they're totally relatable. And for that reason, he is now all of our fathers. Bill Trinan is your dad. Dad says, I am really, really terrible at remembering that sunglasses exist. I'm just terrible in general at remembering. But no, for real, I haven't worn sunglasses in years.
I knew it! I knew the second I saw that tweet. I'm like, Brody literally walks out of the house thinking, dang, I wish I had sunglasses. Like, that must happen to you all the time.
I saw a lot of times when I'm like waiting for the bus or something, I'm like, wow, it's really bright. I can't even open my eyes. How do people deal with this?
Yeah.
And never does it cross my mind that we have invented sunglasses. I'm just like, oh, this is hard. I can't see right now. I mostly stop, though, in all honesty, wearing sunglasses because they don't look good on my face because of my no chin. They stick out and they emphasize that I have no chin. And it makes me really self-conscious. So I deal with the pain of the UV rays.
Oh, Brody, I didn't realize you cared so much about your appearance.
I don't, just my chin. That's the one thing. That's it. Now they're chirping me in the, come on. Read the next bit.
Listen, press F in chat for Brody's no chin. Listen, we've actually been talking about High Sky already. We talked about him in the episode earlier. Of course, the 12-year-old Fortnite player. But other people had opinions about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So D&D host Kevin Hitt had a lot of words on this, and here are some of them. Is there any more despicable thing than making the kid go on YouTube and telling everyone he lied about his age when we all know damn well that this was facilitated by FaZe Clan and other adults surrounding Patrick? Shame on FaZe Clan for throwing the kid under the bus. Brody.
That's what I said. That's what I was saying before. I'm on board with this. This is not the kid's fault. It is the adults around him, the mature adults who made the decision.
But he also is bringing up parents, though. He's bringing up parents,
this is
and
what
we
I'm
didn't
saying.
talk about parents.
The parents that signed, because he would have had to sign that FaZe Clan document, even if he was 13. He's not an adult yet, right?
Yeah.
He has to have an adult guardian sign that for him. Which means, first off, FaZe didn't do a good enough investigation to find out what his actual age was. Even if the kid's lying, pull up documents, man. There are documents for this. Pull up those documents, get them, especially if he's way older, like he's clearly like, you know, over 19 in his 20s, then it's a little more like, even then you should still be getting the documents, but it's more reasonable to maybe look over it. But it's a kid, get the documents, and then the parents should not have lied as well.
I just feel like regardless, like, you know how stage moms are, or just even like, you know, they talk about Hollywood parents, the parents that like just don't care about their child's well-being in general, and they're just like, no, like be famous. You can be famous, they're gonna make some money, like let's go.
At the same time, this kid is going to be well off because he's going to have a lot of money in the future.
Yeah, and his parents will, I'm sure, reap some of those rewards.
That's a whole other topic. We need responsible parents. But let's move on because it is time to get to some crowd controlled. So I don't know if I'm getting older, but I defo don't think there are many good Pokemon beyond Gen 2. And an artist online, Anonymous, points out why that may be. They point out how the design has changed and gotten cuter as the years go on. You got smooth feet, big head, and eyes, and less sharp overall. And they show, you know, what a Vulpix would look like had it been drawn in this newer style, right? And then it shows the new gen Pokemon, what they would look like in the old. And I'm gonna say straight up, I like the old style. Marissa, I don't know what you prefer there. If you like how it's going this cutesy kind of style.
How could you even ask me that question? Obviously, I prefer the cutesy.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to make assumptions about your
obviously.
Pokemon
And I love how you're like,
preferences.
I don't know if I'm getting older. Yeah, you're definitely getting older, Brody. That is just life.
Is that how it works?
We're all getting older.
Science
but no,
happens.
they have to appeal to more people, right? So of course they're going to go more cutesy because the people that love Pokemon will still love Pokemon regardless, and then they can bring in a younger audience with this cutesy vibe.
But they were still bringing a young audience with those old designs too. I was playing when I was 11.
Brody, do you do market research? No. You don't sit behind a a glass and then like do market research and have people sit around a table giving their input?
I don't know. I don't like the new art style. So, suck it. My opinion's right.
You're so annoying. Listen, we all hate loading screens, and over the years, a lot of developers have done some creative things to hide their loading screens. So Mirador shows us how they tackle it.
So this is brilliant. Where'd he go? Where's he going? He's just going into another world? No, bam! There's the new world. That's so sick.
That's cool. Yo, that looks like Bastion.
Yeah, it's I don't think that game's actually out yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But well, I loved it. For me, I saw a big change in loading screens with Uncharted.
Yeah.
Uncharted started doing it behind the cutscenes. Tomb Raider took after that too. You know, when she's going through crevices, that's when they're loading the next levels.
Oh, so cool.
Portal did it with the elevators. There's a lot of brilliant ways. I love it just to make these games seem more seamless. Now with the next gen though, with SSDs, PS5 was showing off their tech. We're just not going to have to worry about the creative things anymore because there are no loading times, and I'm looking forward to it.
I wonder if Kojima's going to have loading times in his new game, because don't you remember with all of his games there was just like the longest loading times before anything? Like the cutscenes that would happen?
It wasn't the loading times that were long. It was the 14 to 30-minute cutscenes that were long. You could load 40 games in that time. It was brilliant. Anyways, our last post is a glitch that shows us how to assert dominance and truly invoke fear in your opponents.
When will your boss be here next? A few days. Let me go. I beg you.
Oh my, Brody, we're not. This is not R-rated.
That's the new version, the Assassin's Creed remaster baited. I did it.
Listen, I don't know if we were allowed to
we did
that or not.
Either way, I love those glitches, and we need more of those in our life.
Exactly. I must say that was a very good glitch. I would have clipped that too. I'm sorry. That was a good one.
Okay, then I'll continue capturing more of those moments for you guys to enjoy.
Yeah, I know, but can you save them? Because I'm not going to be here for a week. I'm going to E3.
All right, I will save all the good ones so Ron doesn't get any good moments on crowd control.
Much.
No problem.
That's how you show
I'm kidding.
up.
He's getting all the best ones. I've already been saving them up.
That's true, though. Ron will be here right in the spot all next week with Brody. Cannot wait to watch you boys do your thing. I'm going to be at E3 with Camille and AJ, bringing you guys the goods there. That's it for Unmuted. Be sure to hit us up and say hi on Squad State. We are there everywhere on socials, and we'll see you next time.
I'm gonna make a prediction for since this seems to be like the middle chapter in the new Gears trilogy.
Yeah.
The next game after this, we're going to because we're focusing on 3 protagonists across these games. We already got, and I forget these characters' names. Forgive me, it's been a while. But he was the protagonist of Gears 4. She's the protagonist of Gears 5. Guy in the hat gonna be protagonist of Gears 6.
You're like Beanie Man.
That guy's name is Marcus, right? I relate to you.
Not the singer.
I'm channeling your energy.
Yeah, show me if you know Beanie Man, though.
Beanie Man.
Yo, you're OG if you know Beanie Man.
Drop a lyric that's rated G. The E3 hype is real. Just so you guys know, we're hosting a live viewing party this weekend on Sunday. So be sure to follow us on all our socials at Squad State to know when we go live. Or you can just follow us on our Twitch and you'll be notified when we're live. See, there you go, it's that easy. In just a bit, Marissa and Zerk will be calling up Moses to break down Dreamhack Dallas. But first, it's time for me to get you caught up with the news. We finally got confirmation on a long-standing esports rumor. Dignitas is coming back to the LCS. Dignitas announced that it would be merging with Clutch Gaming, who have a franchise spot in the LCS. The team will still compete in the 2019 season as Clutch Gaming, but once the season ends, it will rebrand to Dignitas. Before Dignitas failed to acquire one of the 10 franchise LCS spots back in 2017, the team competed in League for 4 years. In that time, Dignitas never made the finals of any split, and firmly sat in the middle of the pack of LCS teams. But it was also very popular and attracted a large fan base thanks to its unique personalities. Since 2017, Dignitas has consolidated and underwent a rebrand, and now fields teams in esports such as Rocket League. Whether Dignitas will make any changes to the roster remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, it's good to have the org back in the LCS. It's a few days before E3 and the leaks won't stop coming. And the latest report is a big one. According to sources speaking to Kotaku, Blizzard has canceled a StarCraft shooter that has been in development since 2017. Codenamed Ares, the project was described as being like Battlefield in the StarCraft universe. Development was going well, but Blizzard decided to cancel it a few weeks ago with no warning. The good news is that it appears no employees were laid off after the cancellation. Instead, they were apparently moved to teams that are working on both Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. Yup, Overwatch 2 is apparently going to be a thing that will be announced at BlizzCon later this year. In addition to having Overwatch's normal multiplayer modes, Overwatch 2 is alleged to have a big PvE mode, with sources comparing it to Left 4 Dead. All this is to say that things are crazy over at Blizzard, and I can't wait to see how BlizzCon will turn out. Earlier this year, Destiny 2 developer Bungie split from Activision and became an independent studio. At the time, Bungie said to expect big changes to the game, and in a live stream yesterday, we now know that those changes are going to be huge. For starters, Destiny 2 will be switching to a free-to-play model. This means that all of Destiny 2's Year 1 content will be available for anyone to play, with Year 2 content requiring the purchase of the Forsaken expansion. Furthermore, Destiny 2 will be coming to Steam soon, and cross-saves will be enabled across every console. This is all a lead-up to Year 3, which will be headlined by a new expansion called Shadowkeep that launches in September. With these changes being added in over the next few months, it looks like Bungie is prepping Destiny 2 to stay relevant for years to come.
But Guardian knew where he was the whole time, just had to buy some space behind the flash and smoke, and he has done that. It's phased. Devine's lucky as well, couldn't quite close on his 5th and the 8th, but he'll go back and find shots for the end.
With 2 HP, he detects threat now. He can sense players on the other side. It's going to be a kill for Twitch, surely. He gets the first. Is this where it ends? Alu in a 3 versus 1.
Chance to do it, this tag, but he's got the kill. And Liquid have it, they've got the championship, they've got Masters. The chorus there, Dreamhack Masters champions, second in the Intel Grand Slam, Team Liquid champions, where it all began.
Oh, hello and welcome to FPS Friday here in Esports in 30. I'm Marissa, this right here is Rich, and together we're set to bring you a half an hour that's all about the haps in the first-person shooter of esports. Are you excited, Zurich?
Super excited.
We have to talk about what we're covering today, so what's up?
Dreamhack Dallas.
Oh.
Yeah, the CSGO, obviously, is FPS, because a lot of things happen in Dreamhack.
Yeah.
But no, this tournament was insane. There were so many old players that just like resurged, and they were all fragging, and everybody was going off, and there were so many highlights. Like, this tournament was just like a giant highlight reel.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a perfect segue, because we gotta hit our guest on the other side of these highlights. It's gonna be Jason Moses O'Toole. Yeah, that's right. Get hyped. Let's hit these.
It'll be Elige to try and fight them 1 versus 4, and he's got the first kill. The bomb is right there, so that's right, the only thing going for him. 1 more headshot. They're going to try and jump. Oh, my God! Elige!
But Guardian knew where he was the whole time, just had to buy some space behind the flash and smoke, and he has done that. It's phased. Devine's lucky as well, couldn't quite close on his 5th and the 8th, but he'll go back and find shots for the end.
With 2 HP.
9 bullets left for these final 2 kills. Running low, smoke out to delay. Now only 5 bullets left, and he's got the MP7.
Flashbang, they're both flashes lines. Oh! That is a beautiful flashbang.
That's so sick.
He's so clever. He can sneak out behind Twist. That's an AK upgrade as well. There's kits on both Liquid players, but Sergey is waiting. He's going to wait and walk. He wants to deny the defuse. He spots it, he sees it, headshot on the first, runs it down, knows he's inside of the smoke, gets the AK, sprays it, and he does everything perfectly, absolutely perfectly to give Ed 14.
He's actually back in the exact same position. They might not read that. They know Olaf pretty well, and I'm assuming that they would think he's probably repositioned himself, but no, there we go. Now it's all on Naf. AWP in hand, 28 seconds. Oh my Lord! It can't be true. There's Nitro gone, and it's on Stewie. They have to get close to that AW. Oh, he gets down one. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's probably maybe run through and steal a kill somewhere, but I don't think it's gonna. Oh, wow. More and more headshots. Gonna look up. Oh, no. How could that happen? 30 seconds, and Tarek, he has the health, but Amanek is here with the CSGO. Oh, he's gonna clutch it.
And HT2 might get their first map point. They've been chasing overtimes every single round. Oh! Neil's got other ideas. Holds the angle, 4 HP.
Another map to not make it new. Basically, it seems like they shouldn't be playing new. Oh, Jax. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God. God, he absolutely destroyed them.
Stewie behind the sandbags. Doubles up. Exactly what they need. This could be the last round. It's Stewie fighting 3. Ball goes down. He swings wide pistol, but he can't get Alu. He detects threat now. He can sense players on the other side. It's going to be a kill for Twitch, surely. He gets the first. Is this where it ends? Alu in a 3 versus 1. Not just this tag, but he's got the kill. And Liquid have it. They've got the championship. They've got Masters. The Corsair Dreamhack Masters champions. Second in the Intel Grand Slam. Team Liquid champions. Where it all began years ago. History is on for North America.
In front of the hometown crowd, the boys on Liquid lifted those trophies high. Now joining us to break it all down is friend of the show, Jason Moses O'Toole. What's up?
That's the most game show introduction I'll probably ever have in esports, so I'm all down for that. Yeah, I'm repping the champs right now. I got their hoodie on. Nice. It's good to see them finally hoisting trophies. That was a really, really solid win for them in Dallas.
Oh my goodness, yeah, no kidding. It's just so crazy because Sapphire was on last week. We asked her to make a couple predictions. Yeah. She did. She predicted Liquid winning, which is crazy because the finals because exactly. She predicted the whole thing. It's just so crazy because these guys have been like second. If you ain't first, you're last kind of vibe. And now they did it. They've just gone from a team that was always close but not quite there, like late 2018 and then early 2019, now just being able to close out these big titles. So what is the main difference or growth in their gameplay that you've seen and actually has gotten to them to this point?
It's been obvious for some time now that like Liquid was going to eventually become the standard bearer for North American Counter-Strike. Even with Cloud9 winning the major in Boston last year, you still had this feeling that Liquid was eventually going to figure it out. And I mean, they just have a little bit of everything. That's probably one of the most well-rounded teams we have in Counter-Strike. They're very good tactically. Nitro has become a good leader. In terms of skill of their individual players, it extends to all 5 players on the team, which not a lot of other squads have that luxury. I think we're starting to see the addition of Stewie is panning out. He's playing probably the best Counter-Strike he's played within that lineup. So they're just an incredible team at the moment, and they seem to be, you know, with now the 2nd trophy under their belt, it's only going to build more confidence behind them. So I think we're going to start seeing them get over the hump more and more often. It might not be every time, but more frequently we'll see them lifting those trophies.
With that being said, now that you do have 2 Grand Slam wins under the belt, do you think the biggest question is, does Liquid have the potential to match Astralis and claim that extra bonus big money?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you look at, I mean, Cologne coming up, they're going to have to go through the qualifier for that, but they've got Pro League in France, and just I think that's next week or within 2 weeks. So, I mean, there's 3 Intel stops that they have very, very soon before the player break, before the next major, so they could even close it up just then. And that would be cool. They obviously have the potential, but the question is, will they do it? Which has always been the question for Liquid. We've always known that they have the ability to be one of the best teams in the world. Can they actually get over that hump? And now that they're starting to do it, I think you're going to see more and more people become confident in them. And now they're ranked the best team in the world. So certainly they have the potential. Certainly they have the ability. And I don't know if we'll see them do it, but, you know, that would be a great thing to have on the resume. An Intel Grand Slam, 4 trophies among 10. That's not an easy feat to accomplish.
I mean, they already have something pretty great on their resume because now Liquid is the first American team to reach #1 on HLTV's prestigious rankings. What does this mean for them and the region now as a whole, considering how long it's taken to get here?
It's a great achievement, certainly, but I hope it means that they're just not content. I think the next step for Liquid has to be, you know, you set goals for the region where you want to have a team that's in the top 5. You know, maybe that was 2014, 2015, and then you want to start having, you know, some trophies being won by North American teams, and then you want to have a major won by North American teams, and now you have the #1 rank. Well, the next step after that is set up an era. If you're this Liquid team, you're good enough to have, you know, an era, much the same way we talk about the Fnatic era era and the Brazilian era and the Astralis era. There's the potential here to become a Liquid era, and they have this year to really kind of establish that, and they're off to a good start. They've won the 2 most recent premier tournaments, 2 of the last 3 they've attended. They can win a Grand Slam now. They have the major coming up, and all of a sudden, if they start putting these pieces together, you talk about Liquid as an era, of a team, which would be extremely surprising. But for North American teams, it's always been achieving a goal and then blowing things up and kind of stopping there. Now Liquid can be the first North American team to set their sights beyond that original goal that they set.
Let's go NA.
Yeah, seriously, man.
It's so exciting to finally see a North American team dominate an international scene, especially in CSGO.
No
but let's talk about FaZe and Neo. You mentioned on Twitter you were impressed by how focused FaZe looked under their new veteran in-game leader. Can you unpack the thoughts on what your thoughts are on the FaZe plays and with Neo in the picture?
Yeah, well, I mean, when he joined the team, I looked at this pickup and I didn't see a whole lot of upside to it. I think it could have kept them like treading water. I didn't think it would really improve the squad, all things considered. I know, as far as talking to Yanko, the coach of FaZe, who's a good friend, he mentioned he was very, very happy with the level that Neo came in with on an individual level and on a leadership level, and was really impressed with how he called in Dallas, despite not winning the event. But more than anything, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because Neo came in as the in-game leader, because people started to feel a little bit more comfortable, because maybe Nico's not calling, but Olaf and Guardian had 2 phenomenal events. And the big struggle with this FaZe team has been they create this superstar talented lineup of some of the best players we've ever had in Counter-Strike, but then immediately like 2 of them dropped off. And you have players that are superstars, that are world caliber, that all of a sudden are playing just like your average pro, and that just can't be the case. So whatever Neo's done coming in, maybe it's just a honeymoon period, we'll see long term. But if Neo's going to be able to unlock those guys, Guardian and Olaf, to be able to get back some of their previous level, this team gets dangerous right away all over again. So whatever he's done, I hope it continues. I hope deep down that this Neo acquisition works. I hope they win trophies. I hope they are contending for the next major, because there's too many good players and too many cool stories on this FaZe roster just to have them be another average team. So beyond everything, I hope this works out, and at least the first early returns are good.
I mean, you mentioned Guardian and Olaf here, so I have to talk to you about the whole young versus old dynamic at play within FaZe, because like when the younger guy Nico was calling the shots versus now Neo, like what was that vibe like for you guys watching?
Yeah, is there a difference in like style or gameplay that you see within the 2-shot callers?
I think more than anything, the other players, guys like Guardian and Olaf and Rain, just seem a little bit more engaged, especially on the T sides. I thought towards right before Neo joined, the offensive sides for FaZe just seemed very flat, where no one was really doing anything. And there's always a couple ways you can look at it. One of the ways I look at it is Nico, for as good of a caller, and he probably makes more often than not the right calls for the situation. When you are not used to being an actual in-game leader, and it's not the path that you took in your career, and especially as a star player, you make calls for yourself, like you make calls to put yourself in the best position to succeed, and you do it naturally. It's not some like vindictive, it's not some evil thing, but he just knows what he wants to do, and then he's building the team around him. So I think Neo coming in at least gives everyone else the opportunity to be a little bit more involved in the game plan, and as long as they're going to remain proactive and they're going to remain engaged and they're actually doing things on the map, that's a net positive in my opinion. So I just think the difference in styles for calling is going to help them out a lot as time goes on.
And it's very hard to frag and IGL at the same time. I don't know how these guys do it. I mean, obviously they're pros, but it's one of those things where it's just, again, as you mentioned, it's Nico has to frag too, right?
Right.
It takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. Like you even see it with Nitro, who's one of our better fragging in-game leaders on Team Liquid. When he started off down this path of being an in-game leader, it wasn't the same. He wasn't fragging to this level. You see it with someone like Glaive. Astralis is one of the most notoriously prepped teams we have in the scene, and Glaive is a phenomenal fragging in-game leader. So the ability for your leader to frag all comes from how much time and effort you're putting into practice and how disciplined you are before the matches start.
So wait, then you're saying this unlocks Nico then? is this unlocking the monster that is?
Well, I mean, he was already unlocked. I mean, hidden in the secret of like Simple still having career performances and an incredible year is Nico has been phenomenal in 2019, and I think that's one of the stories that's kind of gone unnoticed just because we're used to him being incredible, but he's having an even better year than he was last year, and he's obviously going to be the key to FaZe winning trophies. It's got to be Nico playing well. He is the young star. He is a savant. He is the genius level player. So you need to have Nico playing well and feeling well, and it looks like he is at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. We need to talk G2 though.
Yes, who clearly took many strides forward at this event. You said their retakes really helped push them to the top 6 in Dallas. But can you give us an overall picture of G2's improvement?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to do that because I had no expectations literally for G2 just because I'd given up on them a long time ago, and I basically just told myself like, the past history of some of these players is no longer going to influence where I think G2 should be. Even the other French team, Vitality, that won Summit, it was kind of like I just looked at the French region and I was like, you got to show me something. I don't care about either of your teams anymore. And both have improved. Vitality looked much better at Summit and in winning that event. G2 specifically, the retakes were incredible, and you could tell they had game plans, you could tell they did theory, and the reason why that's so impressive to me is because I think retakes as a team trying to get better is the most important fundamental thing you can learn in Counter-Strike because it allows you to do so many other things. If you're confident you can retake a bomb site, you can take your manpower away from it and do something on the other side of the map. You can actually get creative and you can actually invent new ideas and strategies, but you have to be able to retake a bomb site if you're going to do that. So I think that's at least a good first sign out of G2. And then, I mean, much like Olaf and Guardian, Shox and Kenny had a phenomenal tournament, which we hadn't seen out of those two guys, those two French superstars in probably 2 years. So, I mean, that's a really good thing. And it just kind of worked out that Dallas happened to be like a renaissance tournament for all these old superstars that we hadn't seen in action in some time. They all played well, which is perfect.
You love to see that, right? Like, you don't want to see these older gentlemen, just lose their touch.
They're not even that much older.
No, but still,
I know.
They're still veterans, a little older than the rest of the group.
It's been nice because we've been talking these guys up for so long and how good they used to be, and it's nice having something to show off to viewers that came in the past year. Like, you don't realize how good Olaf was, you don't realize how good Shox and Kenny were. So it's nice to be able to point at it and see like this is what was happening game in, game out, for the first 3 years when you weren't watching. So that's always fun.
I know it's true. Like when I first started covering CS, it was Kenny. Like I remember Kenny being like the man. So now
he's the god,
right? The god. On the opposite side of the French coin, we have Vitality, who also made top 6. Last week, we asked Sapphire if she thought ZywOo was the best French player in the world, and his numbers seem to really support that. So what's your take on ZywOo and his role in propelling Vitality into the top 5 of the HLTV rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I think ZywOo is easily, hands down, the best French player we have at the moment. I don't see another person you could even put in the argument. He's something special, and I think he's going to become a special player, within a few years. He's got a lot to learn, and he's got to do it on a team that's kind of rediscovering itself as well, which makes things a little bit more difficult. I jokingly, talking to NBK, was just like, oh, look, you found another Kenny S. As appropriate as we just talked about him. And NBK just said dead seriously, he's like, he's going to be better than Kenny S ever was. And I have a lot of respect in NBK's Counter-Strike opinion. So the way you've watched ZywOo carry this team through stretches, he's been the guy who saved them from disastrous losses. He's been the guy who's carried them to incredible qualifications. And the nice thing was watching them win Summit, he didn't have to be the most amazing player in the server at all the times. You had, RPK, you had Apex, you had everyone kind of stepping up around him, which makes his job much, much easier. And he steps in and makes an incredible play to close out certain games. So I think as long as Vitality can play good enough to give him a little bit of a breathing room and not make the early stage of his career all about him having to hard carry a team to deep finishes, I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be something special within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, ZywOo had insane clutch rounds that I'm just like, I don't even know like how I could keep my heart inside my chest if I'm like 1v3ing people. Another team that was kind of caught everybody by surprise was Furia. Came to the event, put on an insane performance. Art was an incredibly, fresh take on an IGL. Like he was like incredibly aggressive, taking flanks and just like wrecking people where they didn't expect to be destroyed. Walk us through their journey and how they've emerged as the new wave of Brazilian CSGO over just the last few months.
Yeah, it's been interesting because I've been hearing about this team from Brazilian fans for months now. For like the past 5 months, I've been told that they're going to win every game that they play and every tournament that they enter into. And I know a lot of that's mostly jokes, but it's nice to finally see something backing it up. I think they're a super exciting team, and much like every other, Brazilian team that comes after MIBR, they're very good at chaotic situations. They have an insanely high level of individual skill. Not as much of a team focus as you'd like to see. I still have not bought fully into the hype. As I'm saying this, they just beat Astralis earlier on in the ECS finals that just began yesterday. So that's a pretty cool upset win by them. But still, I think they make a lot of mistakes in pretty critical situations that is going to deny them from being a top team anytime soon. But I mean, they're certainly one of the most fun teams to watch just because of how they choose to play. Very reminiscent of the Immortals team that went through the Krakow major and made it all the way to the finals there. A lot of individual skill, a lot of aggression. No one's backing down from fights. So they're going to be fun to watch. I think they're going to have to fix some things, obviously, if they want to be a potential danger to take a trophy or a deep run into a tournament. And especially when teams are going to start looking into them, I think you're going to see them get exploited. So they still have a lot more to learn, but the potential is there, and the excitement is certainly there.
Well, you talk about potential. I do want to kind of ask you what you've seen now out of the South American CSGO scene as it stands today. Like, is there any potential to see another great team emerge from the region?
Probably. I don't know them intimately enough to pick one out. I know we did a week of them in Pro League of the South American scene, and we had some teams come up, and one that caught my eye was that team Isurus or however you want to say it or pronounce it. They have some really cool players and some really cool styles, and they've qualified for a couple other events. I believe they're doing some Dreamhack Open stops, and I believe they were in Dallas as well. I didn't get to cast them out there, but they're an intriguing team with some pretty skilled individual players, and I think as scouting becomes better, one thing I noticed in that week of South American Counter-Strike is that there are individuals that you could probably pick up and put on a low-tier professional North American team. And I think, as there's not a whole lot of confidence in the semi-pro North American squads at the moment, I think you can see some of those international players at some point in the next years being brought up because there's enough money now to justify someone moving up to Texas and living there for, X amount of months as a trial run.
For sure.
Yeah. Speaking of roster talks, because we were already kind of talking about it.
Now we're getting into the spicy stuff.
Yeah, so is it OBO or Obo?
As far as I know, it's Obo.
Obo, okay. So Obo, the 15-year-old.
Let's put it this way: ain't nobody saying OBO when they're casting a game.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have Obo to Complexity, Sonic to Envy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Obo's just 15. That is insane. It doesn't make sense in my brain. But are any of these moves enough to push Complexity and Envy to being, up there with Energy and TL?
I don't know anything about Sonic. Obo is someone I've heard his name around quite a bit, and he's had an interesting career path and journey so far. All I can really say, I watched his game today. He's obviously got some skills. We'll see how he develops in the rest of his game. But I hope that he becomes the franchise player Complexity needs, because as an organization, it's such a long-standing name in Counter-Strike. That's a team that's a franchise that I would like to see have success in Counter-Strike, just because Jason Lake has been around so often and is such a great figure. I've been to the Complexity facility just last week in Dallas. It's gorgeous. They have an incredible setup for any players they bring in terms of trying to help them improve as players, trying to help them improve as people and as professionals. They're 5 minutes from the Cowboys headquarters. They've got access to the Cowboys gym and cafeteria. There's got so much cool stuff there that can help young players and young Counter-Strike teams that I hope he becomes a franchise player that's good enough to attract more players to Complexity, because eventually I think that franchise, you'd like to have them, especially being backed by the Cowboys, involved in professional Counter-Strike for some time. So that organization is long-standing for a star player who can be their guy for years to come. Obo's got the skills. The rest need to develop, and we'll just see how it goes.
I have a really serious question for you, Moses.
Right.
Because we know he was hanging around the event, but did you have a chance to meet Jeff Goldblum?
I did not. He was busy with a couple things. I was casting a game that they were doing some content on. So I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I had my opening line all picked out, because I can't imagine anyone at an esports event in this day and age will ever recall seeing The Fly. It's one of the brilliant sci-fi movies from, I believe, 1986, and I was going to tell him that I really liked and appreciated his performance as a fly in said film. And I think he would have really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
so
as you do.
his
I know.
loss, really.
No, you're absolutely right, because everybody there is so young. It's true, they wouldn't have seen or appreciated his performance. And it was something, I almost, because I know exactly what you're talking about, watching that movie,
Yeah.
I almost had to turn away so many times because he's so good at it that it kind of grosses you out.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that movie does not hold up over time. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of the special effects probably dropped off from the late 80s.
But it's just so funny how like Jeff Goldblum does hold up over time. He's only getting better with age, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, go on, please. Tell us more about that.
I mean, I guess same with Moses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there we go. Now we're
same with
talking.
me. You're supposed to return the compliment.
You're not that old, I don't think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Moses!
See? Nailed it.
Even better.
Nice
Thank you so much. Listen, we really appreciate you hitting us up with all the deeds on Dreamhack. Take care. We hope to see you again real soon.
Absolutely, will do. Thanks, guys.
You know what? I would be so cheesed if Jeff Goldblum was anywhere I was at and I didn't at least run up to him and tell him how much I loved him.
Yeah, at least a fist bump.
I mean, I kind of love that we've turned our CSGO talk into Jeff Goldblum because that happens every weekend.
I know.
Right?
The derailing here is so easy. I don't know why.
It's just you and me, Zarek. It's just what we do,
No
baby.
rails.
But we'll bring it back to FPS right now because there's been a few things going on.
Yep.
I know you want to talk about a couple of things here. One of them being Apex Legends patches out bunny hopping, which I didn't even know was in the game because I'm not that good enough to figure out the bunny hopping.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where somebody discovered that the mechanic exists. Not, well, I mean, without the developers actually putting it in place on purpose. And then, you know, obviously there's an advantage because you don't lose speed as you're bunny hopping. So that means as you're reloading or you're healing, you can maintain a sprinting momentum.
Okay.
But it's a little hard to do, not really in the game, because anyway, the mechanical skill of it is not really too hard to learn. It takes maybe like a day to practice, but I guess that's a little too hard for people.
But if you can do it in something like CS, because there's an option too in CS, if you can figure it out, you have to be quick enough on it.
Yes, yes. It's a timing. It's kind of like doing a combo in like a fighting game. Like you have to time the jump with your landing. So it's like you're pretty much pre-jumping as you're landing to like cancel the momentum or the physics stopping you from your movement. But de-skilling it maybe is the way to go because it is one of those things where it's not meant to be there. I personally don't like doing these type of things though, but I think in a modern age it makes sense for Respawn to do it.
Are you saying a modern age as in gamers aren't as good anymore, or we need the game to be more accessible?
Yeah, so it's like the mechanics should be in front of you. So like a lot of older games, again going back to fighting games like Melee, a lot of mechanics got discovered because they were bugs. So like the frame that you can exploit, it turns into kind of like that, a little bit of an exploit. So like bunny hopping was technically from the developer's standpoint an exploit, so they had to take it off. I don't think it's to de-skill the game. I think it's to just make it like fix it because it technically
like
is a
just
bug.
Fix it.
Yeah. But I don't know. People will get mad whatever you do to your game. So it's just one of those things.
You literally cannot please everyone. I do want to talk to you now because we got to move over to R6, but an R6 content creator, but it's Bolo.
I think so.
Yeah, Bolo. He joins X Accelerate because Accelerate is no longer sponsoring the team. This guy has nearly 100K Twitch followers, 700K YouTube subscribers. I mean, obviously it's exciting because these orgs really, when they want to form an org, you want there to be content creation. Like that seems to be the main drive of all of these orgs because that's where they're pulling in most of their revenue now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is obviously the way to go.
Yeah, I think so. It's the weird part about it is usually the opposite thing happens where they start in the pro scene and then as they kind of like the Shroud route where it's just like, oh, I'm kind of not really winning a lot of tournaments, but I'm really good at games, so I'm just gonna, play games and stream. This guy did the opposite. It's a little weird because they are not sponsored anymore, so it's kind of like, why would they need a content creator to be in the team, maybe to boost the team's viewers rate? But I mean, he has to be good. Like, why would a team pick him up if he wasn't
good?
Yeah, if he wasn't like pro caliber.
But even like, it's just like Shroud, like people watch him because he's good. Like it's not like he has this incredible personality that he's just like popping off.
He's really chill.
He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But like he's chill and people like watching him, but we watch him because he's so freaking good. So this guy is obviously so good, and that's why they picked him up. And now because of his followers, because of his reach, he's going to maybe be able to bolster these guys into stardom, or at least into maybe the arms of an org just waiting.
Yes, that would be
come
the most
here.
ideal scenario for this team.
Yeah.
Is like after, hopefully they show up with results that can back up the stardom, you know, because like we've seen that before where it's like, oh, look at this freaky player, put him in the team, and then nothing works, you know, like they just get swept and you're just like, well, what was the point of all that hype? But that's esports for you.
It's esports. I do want to talk to you about Battalion 1944 because that's surging, and you've actually played this game.
Yeah, so I played the closed beta, like I think a year, maybe and a half ago. It's a little bit of a mix between COD, so it's like, because it's an older game, it's World War II with a lot of like, or sorry, World War I with a lot of like the older guns and all that stuff. But then World War II. Then the entire, the rounds is similar to Counter-Strike. So everybody, you kind of start with a loadout that you can get, and there's kind of like an economy. The game is fast, and it's like it rewards so much of your aim. So it's very high skill ceiling, you know, very easy to pick up because it's super familiar. Like nothing about it is really, you know, like new or innovative. It's just a very polished, smooth, you know, FPS. So, but the cool part about it is there is tournament integration. Like FACEIT has its own system inside it where you can actually join tournaments and leagues through the game itself. So that's an extra step that kind of is like taken away, because before, for example, Counter-Strike, if you want to play in a competitive scene, you have to pay a monthly subscription on ESEA. It's not much. It's like $10 for 30 days.
Zurich, I'm already paying monthly subscriptions everywhere.
Yeah, but if you want to be good at video games, you also have to pay subscription.
Okay, that was a dig on me, and I don't appreciate it, but I appreciate you, Zurich. I love talking FPS with you every single Friday. I won't be here next Friday with you because I'll be away at E3. And then also covering CWL Anaheim, so we'll talk about that when I come back. But Nicholas should actually be here joining you. That'll be fun. I will be watching Friend. That's it from us today. Don't fret, there's another episode next week. Thank you again to Moses, as always, for calling in, and thank you for watching. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, you guys, for catching us up on everything CSGO, and shoutouts to Rebel as well for fueling us in the green room. Remember, this is another reminder that we'll be back live on Sunday, checking out everything that's been happening at E3, so you don't want to miss that. Until then, you can follow us on all our socials at Squad State. We'll see you this weekend.